Another issue that probably on his desk as well, the Sonke Gender Justice in partnership with the Alliance for Rural Democracy are urging President Cyril Ramaphosa to scrap the Traditional Khoisan Leadership Bill and the Traditional Court Bill. The two organizations contend that the two laws would be detrimental to rural communities. They marched to the union buildings in Pretoria today to submit their memorandum. Our reporter Ofentse Setimo has been following the story for us.
We are coming to you from the union buildings where Sonke Gender Justice and the Alliance for Rural Democracy want to make their discontent with two bills known, and they want the president not to pass those two bills into law. The one bill is the Traditional Khoisan Leadership Bill and the Traditional Courts Bill, of which Sonke Gender Justice says they will actually take us back to the dark ages of apartheid. Thank you so much for joining me, Lehlohonolo. Why are you against these two bills as Sonke Gender Justice and the Alliance for Rural Democracy?
So we believe that these bills are unconstitutional because they give unelected officials power. We also know that they will disempower women from representing themselves in court, but also will diminish property rights for community members. So we are showing our discontent by ensuring that if these bills are to pass, it will take us back to a separate legal system. So effectively, people who are in rural communities will be subjected to the bills as opposed to everyone else who's not in a rural community.
Okay. But have you tested the constitutionality of the two bills before you start opposing them? Or is there a case study that you have in mind? I heard you mention Kolobeni.
Yeah, so the Kolobeni judgment effectively is people fighting for their rights, for property rights, and they've won. What effectively the TKLB will do was put power in the hands of the unelected leaders who just have to consult but not necessarily get permission from community members. So effectively reverse Kolobeni. So if the bills are passed into law, some organizations will effectively take this to the Constitutional Court because we believe that these bills are unconstitutional.
Some were saying if they are actually passed into law, they might open up a can of worms in terms of corruption, because some traditional leaders don't take the mandate from the people. Sometimes they can just, take a bribe and decide to do as they please.
So we are concerned about this unelected leadership, right, of traditional leaders effectively making decisions on behalf of the community, when we know that the consensual nature of customary law is to include the community members. So we're afraid that this unfettered power will be dangerous for community members and impact them greatly.
And magistrates and judges are actually trained to be unbiased and to, apply the law and interpret the law. So how do you see it working in terms of traditional leaders having to now be the magistrates and judges without proper training?
So, it's interesting because they want to be a court, but they don't have proper training, and legal representation is not allowed in these courts. So we'd be interested to find out what type of legal training or what type of training or decision making they will include in making these decisions.
Thank you. Well, that was Lehlohonolo from the Sonke Gender Justice actually saying that with the new bills, it might open up a can of worms, as he believes that the appointed people should have education in order to preside over legal matters, not the chiefs who are just there by birthright. And with that, is back to studio.